Next up, we have Club Penguin. Now, I'm sorry, I didn't really play a lot of Club Penguin.
Is this nigga serious?
But, before you get into a fucking tizzy, before you get into my comment section calling me a fucking bitch, just know that I did enjoy my time with Club Penguin, okay? Welcome back to the motherfucking channel, man. Now look. I got another tier list for y'all, right? This one's a little different though. In my last tier list, we covered mobile games from childhood. This time, we are going to be covering classic MMOs. We got MMORPGs. We got, just regular walk around MMOs. Before we get into the actual content of the tier list itself, few things, right? I just want to say thank you so much for all the support on my recent mobile games tier list. It's sitting at like 200 views right now, and I've been getting a lot of good feedback in the comment section. And just want to say, if you have watched it, you taking the time out of your day to sit there and watch me for an hour and I think it was like 3 minutes, rank those fucking 50 something games or whatever. I appreciate it. Thank you. And if you haven't already seen it, I recommend that you watch that to sort of kind of get a feel for like what this tier list is kind of gonna be like, because it's gonna have a similar feel. It's just a different genre of game, I guess. And then when you're done, come back to this one and tell me what you thought in the comments, bro. I think there's 26 MMOs on this tier list. So there were plenty of these, and a lot of the good ones came out in the early 2000s, from like early 2000 to like, I don't know, 2000, like 16, 15, 14 is when a lot of them started to get shut down. Now, I know that me personally, these games shaped the hell out of my childhood. If I wasn't on my Xbox 360, I was on the family laptop playing at least one of these every day. And I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you have too. Let's walk down nostalgia lane together, shall we? So look, in our first tier, we have literally Raise Me. These are games that I personally spent, and you most likely did as well, spent so much time playing to the point where like I didn't need parents, bro. All I needed was these games, bro. These games was teaching me how to eat, sleep, motherfucking brush my teeth, dress myself. Like, these games, this is all I needed. That was a terrible explanation, Jesus Christ. Basically, these are the best of the best. And then a tier below that, we have Put Hours In. These are basically games that I just spent a lot of time playing, and you probably did as well. Not necessarily like my favorite, but very good games. And then below that, we have the Fun tier. These were games that I didn't spend as much time playing as the ones above, but they were fun. I did enjoy them. And you're probably gonna start getting real mad at me when I start putting shit in anything below that, which is going to be our tier called Boring. These are games that I have played and I really just didn't click with them, bro. And there is a couple in here, y'all niggas gonna be real mad at me, bro. Y'all gonna be real upset. But anyway, a tier below that, we have the Unplayable tier. These are games that were just dog doo-doo ass, bro. Like chicken shit, motherfucking dog shit. Like, these are the worst of the worst, bro. And then a tier below that, which is our final tier, we have Don't Remember / Didn't Play. These are games that I've never touched before or just don't really remember. There's quite a few. So the way I did this, I took the games that I played and that I remember very vividly and put them in this tier list. There are also some games that I know were extremely popular during the time of me growing up that I probably never played, probably never got around to playing, but they are in here. I wanted to make sure that I represented some of the biggest names in MMO gaming. But without further ado, we're gonna get into it, bro. I'm a little nervous, bro. I'm about to make a lot of niggas mad. Okay, so first of all, we have Animal Jam. I've only played this like one time in my entire life. I don't remember much from it. I remember I had like a monkey or some shit with like fire tattoos, because apparently you can give your animals tattoos. I don't know, this game, it just didn't really click with me for real from what I remember. Like, I did a couple things here. I don't even remember what the fuck I did. I played it for like maybe an hour, and this was kind of recently too, bro. I didn't play it growing up, right? But I have played it like I played it in college. Don't ask me why, bro. Niggas was getting bored in that dorm room. I had to find something to do. Yeah, so apparently Animal Jam is still running, I think. Yeah, I played it for like maybe an hour, and I was just like, this ain't it, bro. And it might have just been because like at that time I just probably didn't really have the attention span for like a lot of these games as I did when I was growing up. So I'm gonna put this in Boring. It wasn't my shit. I'm sorry, bro. I know I know a lot of people play Animal Jam and really liked it because it's talked about pretty consistently within like the nostalgic like classic game sphere on YouTube. It just wasn't my shit. What was my shit though? Motherfucking Clone Wars Adventures. Oh my god, this was my shit, bro. I was not a big Star Wars fan growing up, and I remember like watching the Clone Wars as a kid and never really like vibing with it. Star Wars just never was really my thing, right? I only really got into it after I started watching the movies. But Clone Wars I was never really into. I know, fucking Cardinal Sin, I understand. Look, I get it, bro. I know y'all niggas is mad at me. But this motherfucking game? Oh, I played this shit out of this. This was when Cartoon Network sort of, I guess, owned the Star Wars IP? I don't really know, but they, obviously, the Clone Wars aired on Cartoon Network, and when I found out that they were making a MMO out of this, I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, I love MMOs, like, might as well check it out, whatever. I don't like the show for real, but it was really cool. It had like this intro sequence that played every time you made a new character, and it was like kind of cinematic in a way. It had really good character designs, bro, really good animations. It was a lot to do in this game. You could have saber fights, you could go like pod racing and shit. Oh my gosh, you had like a house that you could customize and shit like that. Oh my god, all the saber customizations, all the races you could be, just the player interactions. It had like a chat, it had clans, it had literally everything that made a good MMO a good MMO. So next up we have Club Penguin. Now, I'm sorry, I didn't really play a lot of Club Penguin.
Is this nigga serious?
But before you get into a fucking tizzy, before you get into my comment section calling me a fucking bitch, just know that I did enjoy my time with Club Penguin, okay? It did not raise me because I didn't put that much time into it, but I did put many hours into it. All right, I didn't play it as much as Clone Wars, but I played it quite a bit. I didn't really get into Club Penguin until a little bit later. I think I was around the age of like maybe 12 or 13 when I got into Club Penguin. This was when a lot of the MMOs that I was playing kind of got shut down, and I had not really much to play. So I was like, okay, fuck it. I've been hearing about Club Penguin for a long time, you know, on Disney Channel and just through kids at school. So I was like, you know what, maybe this is my time to give it a shot. So my mom made me an account, and I played it, and I really enjoyed it. The only thing with well, a lot of these MMOs you'll start to notice, but the thing with Club Penguin is that if you didn't have like the pro membership or like the VIP membership or whatever the fuck it was called, you couldn't really do much. You had access to like a lot of mini games and shit, and like little pieces of clothing here and there, but like outside of that, you really could not do much in this game. And that can be said for a lot of these MMOs. But yeah, I mean, Club Penguin literally defined the generation. I can recognize that it shaped the industry in many ways. Yeah, it was to the point where like when it shut down, they literally tried to reboot it, and I never played the reboot, but I remember it came out, people hated it, and it got shut the fuck down like a year later. You can't replicate Peak, bro. You can't replicate Peak. Is this DC Universe on? Yes, it is, bro. DC Universe Online. Oh my god, bro. I didn't play this on PC, but I had it on my Xbox One. Bro, I put so much time into this game. It was more mature, and I didn't really get into it until like a little bit later. I think I was around like 15 when I got into this. I'm 22 now for reference, but I think I was around like 14 or 15 when I got into this. This is when I was really big into like console gaming and shit, and I found this and I played the shit out of it, boy. Oh my god. I think I was Batman student. Oh no, I was Wonder Woman student. I was Wonder Woman student every time I made a character, and I always had the ice powers, bro. Ice was my shit. I loved ice. I love superheroes, right? I love Marvel. I'm not super into DC like that, but I can appreciate it for what it is. So when I found out you could like be a fucking superhero in a big ass multiplayer game, I was like, oh yeah, I need to have this, and have it I did. I played so much of this game. I got really far into the story. I will say though, one thing about this game is that it is extremely overwhelming because of just the sheer amount of content that's in it. You have access to, was it Metropolis, Gotham. I think there was like a third. There were multiple locations, right? But those were like the big two. And you could play as a hero or a villain. So you could either be trained by Batman, Wonder Woman, or Superman, or if you were on the villain side, you would either be trained by Joker, Lex Luthor, or I believe this dude called the Calculator. I don't know shit about that nigga. I know he's like really important in the comics. There was so much to do in this game, and it's still running, by the way, so you can literally download this today. If you've played this, y'all know what I'm talking about, bro, and it really does make you feel like a fucking superhero, bro. Gas. Next, we got Free Realms, bro. Free Realms raised the hell out of me, bro. I made multiple accounts for this game, and it was because either I got banned or because I just couldn't remember my logins, right? You're probably asking, how the fuck you get banned from a kid's game, bro? The name is fitting. Free Realms, bro. Free. You could really do and say anything in this game, bro. It was more catered towards like teenagers, right? So you had motherfuckers running around horny as shit. I was one of them. I was a horny ass nigga, bro, playing this child friendly ass game, right? I was a nigga looking for a girlfriend every time I made a new account. I was a nigga calling niggas bitches and hoes and shit and just blowing up the chat feature. I didn't do shit in terms of objectives in this game. I literally just got on this bitch to harass motherfuckers. Yeah, I was one of them kids, bro. I only did it in this game though, I promise, I swear. Right? You believe me, right? But outside of that, I played this shit a lot. Like, I played this shit almost every day. It was to the point where like I started putting money into this game. There aren't a lot of MMOs that I actually put money into. This was more like a hangout kind of game for me. Like I said, I didn't really do much in terms of objectives. Because there were a lot of objectives that you could do. I just kind of ran around and like made friends and shit. But Free Realms was extremely involved. It kind of simulated like adulthood, or maybe not like, well, yeah, early adulthood, right? So you could like, hang out and go to like beach parties and shit. There were certain jobs you could do. So like you could be a welder, you could be like a fisherman, you could be like a chef. There were all these different like aspects of the game, and it sort of offered like a gateway into adulthood that like a lot of these other games didn't really have. Next up, we got Fusion Fall. Oh my fucking god, let me tell you all about Fusion Fall. Fusion Fall was made by Cartoon Network, and I think it released in like 2011 or some shit like that. Listen to me, if you've watched my other tier list videos, you know that Cartoon Network was my network. I loved Cartoon Network. That was my shit. I loved the characters. I loved the vibe. I just, Cartoon Network was my shit. Listen to me. Listen to me. Fusion Fall took literally every single Cartoon Network IP and mashed that shit into one big ass world. You could interact with characters from Billy and Mandy, Dexter's Lab, Adventure Time, Codename Kids Next Door, Johnny Test. You could interact with every Cartoon Network character up until that point, even the newer ones. Like I said, Adventure Time was there, Gumball was there, Steven Universe was there. Everybody was represented. Every show was represented in some way, shape, form, and manner, bro. Oh my god, Fusion Fall had everything, bro. Customization. It had little like pet things, but they were called nanos, right? And they were like mini versions of the Cartoon Network characters, and they were so varied and cute, and they all had powers and shit, bro. They all gave you like abilities and shit. You had weapons. You could go kill enemies and get weapons and get gear that like affected your stats in different ways. It was so involved and so cool, and it had like this very distinct like anime inspired art style. Every character was like reimagined into that style, and it was so cool. But it was like anime, but it was like kind of like also realistic at the same time, bro. This game was fucking gorgeous. The art style, like everything, it was so cool, bro. And I was so upset to find out that they shut it down a couple years later, man. And there was a project to revive it, and I wanted to be a part of that, but I guess it kind of fell through because Cartoon Network did like a DMC takedown or some shit, and it deserves to be brought back, bro. Because Fusion Fall, like, That was the shit, man. Cartoon Network had a motherfucking gem on their hands, and they shut it down, bro. That's one thing about a lot of these MMOs made by like the networks, like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Disney. They shut shit down because, you know, they have like a dropping player base. But like, bro, these were the games that shaped our motherfucking childhood, bro. Like, if they brought these back today, they would have such a massive player base. I'm telling you, Fusion Fall was one of them, bro. Because I'm on the subject of like massively multiplayer games made by big networks, let's talk about motherfucking Monkey Quest, because bitch, this was my shit too. I wasn't much of a Nickelodeon kid, right? But whenever I would watch Nickelodeon in like 2010, 2011, or whenever, 2012, or whenever the fuck this game got announced, I would see ads for this video game, and I'd be like, damn, that shit look kind of fun, bro. It said join today, bitch. I joined as soon as I saw the first ad, bro. I joined today. Monkey Quest was a little different, right? It had a lot of aspects of like a lot of other multiplayer games, right? Where, you know, you had the customization, you had like the weapons, you had all these different places you could go, right? But Monkey Quest had the added aspect of it. It was like a side scroller game. So it had like platforming elements. Like everywhere you went had some sort of like platforming element. It had like different floors, like top and bottom levels. There was just so many places to go in this game. It really heavy on like the action and the platforming and the traversal. That's something that I really remember from this game. It was just so heavy on like movement and like going places and just doing different things. There was like an overarching story. I can't remember shit from it, bro. I don't know what the fuck was going on in that game. I just played the shit out of it. That's all I know. The only thing that I didn't like about Monkey Quest, and I was kind of talking about this when I mentioned Club Penguin, was that if you didn't have like that pro membership, you couldn't really do much. And Monkey Quest was one of those games where like it would let you start a quest line, but it wouldn't let you finish it until you had like the pro membership. So it would block off certain, like you would get so far into a storyline and it would block off like the very ending of it because you just didn't have that pro membership. So you would just have to go fucking do something else. And that's something that I really did not like about that game, because it's like you get so far into something just to be told, no nigga, pay for it. And I grew up in poverty, so so you know, that wasn't happening a lot. But yeah, nah, Monkey Quest, one of the greats for sure. And if they brought that shit back today, nigga, I'll be on that shit like white on rice. I got a full-time job, but nigga, I find time to play that shit. Next up, we got this nasty ass IMVU shit. This shit is look, man, if you was playing this shit as a kid, I'm surprised your mama didn't beat your ass constantly, bro, because you was not supposed to be playing this nasty ass, horny ass game, bro. I didn't play IMVU growing up. I didn't play IMVU until I got in college, because one of my friends was like, "Do you guys remember IMVU?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "You ever played it?" And I was like, no, because my mama told me not to play it. Like, it literally looked like something you weren't supposed to be playing as a kid. Like, yeah, IMVU is a very mature style of game, and it always has been, but I didn't like it when I played it. All you do, it's a very social kind of game, right? So you literally join like a chat or like a room or whatever, and people will just kind of just be lounging around. They aren't really doing much. They're kind of just talking and like flirting and being all horny and shit. That's literally what IMVU amounts to, and I don't think you can really do much outside of that. I know you can get like a crib or whatever, like you can, I think you can have children, maybe. I don't know. I played it with like a couple friends, and I was just over it. Like I don't want to play this shit, bro. I don't ever want to touch this shit again. This shit got deleted from my PC promptly, bitch. But yeah, if you grew up playing this, bro, I know you got an OnlyFans. I know you sell feed pics. I know you got 2 side niggas and a main nigga. How, bro? Like, what? How much more you need, bro? You niggas shouldn't have been playing this, bro. And if you was, you need your ass beat. Now we got something a little more lighthearted, right? The World of Jumpstart. This was a little more obscure. It was one of those educational MMOs, right? I feel like I'm the only one that ever played this. Because like when I mentioned this to people who were like really into MMOs, nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. The World of Jumpstart was very fun. Actually, no, I put a lot of hours into this. I'm not gonna even cap. It was an educational game. It was one of those MMOs, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of masquerading as a educational game, because like a lot of the educational shit was like pushed to the side in favor of more classic MMO experiences, just like hanging out and getting customizations and getting pets and, you know, going places. It wasn't like an action based game or anything. It was just kind of like a do quests, all that kind of stuff. A lot of those quests did have like educational aspects to them, so like, you know, counting and like reading and writing and shit like that. Again, you really didn't have to interact with that stuff to have a good time in this game. And I was one of those kids, I wasn't learning shit from this game, bro. I was just talking to niggas. I was just trying to get my drip up, trying to get my pet count up. Like I was one of them kids. I had mounts and shit. Like I was the shit, bro. I was that nigga. So yeah, it was literally just about drip for real. Yeah, if you played this, let me know in the comments, bro, because I feel like a lot of people just didn't, bro. Lego Universe. I never played Lego Universe, but when I was growing up, right, this was before we had a PC, so I literally couldn't play it. But when I was growing up, my mom signed me up for like the Lego magazine program. I forget what it is. I think it's like the Lego Club or something like that. Either way, it was like a magazine subscription where you would get magazines in the mail monthly, because I was really into Legos at the time. I got a magazine every month, you know, just highlighting like different new Lego games coming out and new Lego projects coming out, which is how I found out about Lego Batman 2, which masterpiece. So in those magazines they talked, or I think they announced Lego Universe. I remember seeing like ads for it like in every magazine after that, and I was just like, bro, I want to play the fuck out of this game. But niggas just didn't have a computer at home. And I feel like I tried to play it at the library after school, because that's the only time I could access computers before we had one at home. And it wouldn't work for some reason. Like, it wouldn't let me make an account or something. It was like, I don't remember. But I just remember really, really wanting to play it and just never being able to, bro. So, and by the time I actually could, the shit got shut down. I don't know how long this game lasted. I know it did not last long, but if you played this, let me know in the comments. Pretty sure I would have loved it. So MapleStory, I know this is a very popular game in the MMO space, which is why I added it, but I have never played it. I don't know anything about MapleStory. I know that it's kind of, I think it's catered toward like kids, like younger teenagers, like kind of deal, but never played MapleStory. Never even seen gameplay for MapleStory. I don't know anything about this game. I'm sorry. I know it's very popular and that you were kind of hoping that I would say very good things about it, but I didn't play it. I'm sorry, bro. Next we got Moshi Monsters. Moshi Monsters never really appealed to me. Moshi Monsters felt like it was more catered towards like girls, and games like that they weren't for me, so I never played them. Movie Star Planet. Movie Star Planet was very fun. I didn't play it much. Movie Star Planet is kind of like IMVU in the sense that it's more adult. Like late teens, like early adult kind of vibe. It was really just horny niggas doing horny shit, bro. Asking for girlfriends, like being all like promiscuous and shit. It was one of them games, bro. It was real easy to find a girl. It was really just about like being the baddest bitch on the block, getting your drip up, becoming a movie star. Like you could make movies and shit. You were like a model, like a pop icon. So like when this came out, it was very much catering to that crowd of people who really wanted to like aspire to that sense of fame. Like kids who were really just awestruck by like the idea of being a movie star and being like famous and all that shit, because that was a very like hard to attain thing back then. It was a very like not everybody was like a fucking star. Now we got fucking TikTok and Instagram, and like it's really easy to aspire to that level of like, financial freedom and like notoriety and shit like that now, but back in the day it was not that easy. Never played Neopets in my motherfucking life. I know that people love Neopets and that it was extremely popular within the community of MMOs, but I just didn't, I never got around to it. I don't know, it seemed like it was more for girls, so I kind of just like glossed over it and never touched it. I'm sorry, bro. I know that now, like it's still a thing, right? But it's like an NFT project now. So they have like the classic Neopets, and then they got like this fuck ass NFT bullshit. Bad turn, real bad turn. I don't know why they did that shit to this beloved franchise, but Star Wars The Old Republic, man. I've only played this once. Star Wars just, it ain't my shit. It ain't my shit, bro. Like I said, I used to be into it when, you know, I saw the movies. I've seen all the movies. For a while there, I was like, okay, I should have been watching these movies and films and then TV shows when I was growing up, and then I watched The Last Jedi and I was like, yeah, I'm done with this shit. I'm done with this shit, bro. These niggas don't know what they doing with this franchise. So yeah, growing up, I didn't have much exposure to Star Wars, so I never really played this game, and when I did, I just wasn't feeling it. And this was recently when I played this in college. I played a lot of like old school MMOs in college, huh? I guess I was trying to relive the glory days, bro, because I was depressed as shit. Pet Park Pet Park was fun. As you can see, it has like the little Nickelodeon logo up there. So yeah, it was made by Nickelodeon. Pet Park, I really don't remember much from it. I just remember like playing it. It was one of those games where you had a pet. I think you could have like multiple. Yeah, you could like do like little mini games and like get like little hats and stuff like that. Pet Park was kind of like a low-key experience. I feel like it didn't really get much buzz from what I remember. It was one of those games where like you either played it or you didn't. I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but yeah, I did play this. Now I know I said that I wasn't really much into like the MMOs that cater towards like girls, which I feel like this kind of did. Anything like pet related, like animal related, more so catered towards girls. I feel like, I don't know, I guess I just decided to try this one out just on the whim, and I enjoyed it, but I just don't remember much from it because I didn't play a lot of it, like a lot of it. Like if you showed me like a screenshot from it, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's Pet Park. Like I know what it looks like, right? Let's do Wizard 101 first. Let me move this over. I can't look. Okay, whatever. Tier maker, thanks, bro. Wizard 101. Put hours into this shit. I got introduced to this by a friend. She was really like big into this game. She had like a whole profile. She had like a lot of time put into the game, and it kind of prompted me to look at that and be like, oh, okay, let me make an account and let me see what this is talking about, bro. Wizard 101 was one of my first experiences, one of my first introduction to like that sort of like mythical games sort of genre. It kind of like fortified my love for like wizards and wizardry and like sorcery and all that kind of shit. I think that stuff is so cool, bro. Wizard 101 was the catalyst, bro. It was such an interesting MMO because it worked on like the combat, at least worked on like a card system. It was turn-based, right? You had this circle that, you know, spawned in like the middle of the fucking street half the time. And you had like these enemies walking around. And if you bumped into them, the circle would spawn. And that was like your playing field, right? So you'd be on one side of the circle and the enemies would be on the other side of the circle. And you're like casting spells back and forth. You know, you could do quests to get different spells, stronger spells. It was very stat heavy, and like you really had to think about your kit before getting into a fight. You had the customizations and different wands, but the thing that I really loved about Wizard 101 was the different types of like wizards you could be. So when you're making your character, right, there are all these different schools that you can enroll into, right? So there's the school of fire, there's the school of water, there's the school of electric, there's the school of like necromancy. Depending on which school you enrolled in, you would get like a set list of spells that you had access to, bro. Yeah, bro, this was the shit. This was the shit, man. And it gave you so much freedom in terms of customization and what you could do and like where you could go and just who you could be in this massively multiplayer game. And it was just fun, bro. And that's why it's still standing today, surprisingly. Like them niggas, it gets pretty regular updates and people still play it to this day. It is very popular. One of the most popular MMOs ever. Still very true to its roots, and I think that's very cool. Pirate 101 is kind of like the not spiritual successor to Wizard 101. It literally is the successor to Wizard 101. I've never played Pirate 101 ever in my life. I remember when this came out and they were like, yeah, from the creators of Wizard 101, Pirate 101. I don't know what kind of numbers this did. I don't know if it's still up to date. I don't know really much about the game. I just remember it being advertised to me as a kid and me not really being interested. Pirates never have really been my thing, and no kid want to be a fucking pirate for real, bro. Like I don't when I was growing up, I didn't know no kid that played this shit. I remember seeing it and nobody talked about it. Like, I'm not trying to dog on the game, but I don't know much about this shit, and I never really did know much about it growing up. Pop Tropica, this is gonna be really controversial.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell.
I know, burn me at the stake, fucking shoot me, set me on fire, stole me. Look, I get it. I know this was a lot of y'all jam. I know this was a lot of y'all favorite game, bro, but I didn't get into this until a little later, and I don't know, I feel like by the time I played it, my attention span just wasn't there for it. From what I understand, Pop Tropica was kind of more on the educational side. Like Monkey Quest, it had that like side scroller kind of feel to it from what I can remember, and it had like a lot of crossovers too. I remember playing at the time where they had the Diary of a Wimpy Kid crossover. That was cool. Traversing that that world in the art style of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, very, very sick, bro. I just wasn't feeling it, bro. Like, I don't know, there wasn't really, I think there was combat, but there was like a very minimal amount. It was more about like exploring and just doing side quests and adventure, and where a lot of these like multiplayer games that had that also had the added aspect of combat, like action, whereas Pop Tropica didn't really have a lot of that from what I can remember. So oh my fucking god, Project Exonaut, bro. If y'all don't know what Project Exonaut is, it was a massively multiplayer game made by Cartoon Network, right? It was a separate thing from Fusion Fall. It was like a side-scroller shooter game, bro. Again, each Cartoon Network character was represented, but they were represented in a way, in the form of like exonauts, like fucking like mech suits, right? Oh my god, this game was so fucking cool. It literally was like, it was like a mixture of like Halo, like Call of Duty, Smash Bros. It was a side-scroller shooter. That's the best way I can explain it. There were like these two different clans you could join. There was like, I forgot what they're called, but there was like a red one and like a white/green one, right? So the red one had like a set list of Cartoon Network characters, and the other one had their own list of Cartoon Network characters that you had access to, but you could only be on one team. So I was on the team. I was on whatever team the Adventure Time mech was on. Oh my god, that shit looks so cool. If I can pull up screenshots of this, like from this game, of like some of the suits and some of the gameplay, I will. That game was so cool, bro. And I feel like the thing that really drew me towards it was the art style and the character designs, bro, because they were so iconic. My computer could barely run it, but I was killing niggas left and right, bro. Like it was so dope, bro. It was so cool. It was very tactical, surprisingly tactical. But yeah, there's so much I can say about that game. But for the sake of time, we got to talk about these other games, right? So Roblox, yeah, like that was my shit, bro. I stayed on that shit a lot. Like every day after school, at the computer, at the library, like I was on Roblox. Like I did everything in Roblox, bro. My favorite game, Natural Disaster Survival, bro. Y'all know the one. Yup. I did obby courses. I did that. I did like the trivia games. I did like the life simulator games. What are those games where you had like the tycoons? The tycoons. Yup. I played all of it, bro. RuneScape, very popular MMO. Never touched this shit in my life. I don't know shit about RuneScape, bro. I know everybody grew up playing this. I was not that nigga. Never have even seen RuneScape in my life. Never seen gameplay, never seen nothing. I know you probably like, who the fuck is this nigga? I'ma beat his ass. Hey, bro, run it then, nigga. Never had access to it, never was introduced to it. Shoot me. Like, my bad. I don't know nothing about that, but I do know about Superhero Squad Online. Yup, raised the fuck out of me. Hell yeah, bro, this was my shit. This was my shit. Like I said, I've always been a Marvel kid, bro. Like, Marvel is my shit, bro. So when I found out I could swing across the goddamn city as Spider-Man while also being Iron Man and Hulk and like all these different characters and shit, bro, I had to be a part of that. Marvel had this show called Superhero Squad, and it was basically like comical and very like funny, and it had like a chibi art style, right? And it was a very popular show. It was a very big show. It had like a lot of like games and toys, and it was a big thing. If you know, you know. If you were there for it, you know, bro. But a lot of you probably don't know is that it had an online multiplayer game, and I played the fuck out of it. A Superhero Squad Online gave you access to literally every Marvel hero in the goddamn show. Even, I think, even outside of the show. So each story mission you would fight a different boss. So there was one where you could fight Sabretooth, Doc Ock, you could fight Super Skrull, you could fight Bullseye. Like, it had so every character was represented, bro, and it just had this very distinct, like, sort of like chibi art style, and it was just cool, bro. The only thing about that game is that it was really hard getting new characters if you didn't just pay for them outright. You could like naturally earn them through like the in-game currency that you earn every day, but you had to purchase them, like, either way, whether it be through in-game currency or through like a fucking credit card. The best way to get characters was to just fucking buy them. But each character had like their own distinct ability. So like the Scarlet Spider played wildly different from regular Spider-Man. Like it was very, very cool. I think the main draw of that game was just unlocking different heroes and seeing how they operated. So I'm sorry y'all, but I never played Toontown. Yeah, listen, I never played Toontown in my life. I didn't even know. Actually, I did know about Toontown. I did know about it when I was growing up. Disney Channel, I didn't really watch a lot of Disney Channel. I was a Cartoon Network and kind of Nickelodeon kid, so this game didn't really get advertised to me like that. I don't know, it just never really appealed. Like the art style never really appealed to me. I know y'all niggas about to fucking unsubscribe. Y'all niggas about to report my channel. Listen, bro, I'm sorry. I just never played it, bro. I never played it. I know they had like a revival project, and that's still up and running, and people love that shit. Trove, never played this either. Oh, I know y'all niggas want to kill me, bro. I never played Trove. I think Trove is like, isn't it like Minecraft, kind of? It's got like a pixelated art style. It's like an RPG, I know that. Webkins, I have never played Webkins, bro. I give you full permission to click off the video and report my channel, bro. Like, I truly do, because I know that by like not playing these games, I have committed various cardinal sins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sins, bro. That's hell in jail, bro. I know the latter half of this video got y'all mad as fuck, but you know, I was a kid, bro. I could only play so many games. Like I had to go to school, like niggas had to like, you know, like cry, and I needed time to do that shit, bro. Like my bad. Damn. I needed time to like play outside and shit. Like I was in football as a kid, bro. I was a husky nigga. Like I needed to put all that weight somewhere. Shit. Anyway, World of Warcraft. I don't like this shit. I played this in college. Only played it in college, and never played it before that in my life. I would hear about it, you know, through commercials and stuff like that. I think the thing, because Wizard 101 and World of Warcraft are kind of set in like that fantasy kind of thing, right? And I said I was very interested in that. World of Warcraft has that. World of Warcraft has a very mature art style as well. When you're a kid, you're not really into like, you're more into like colors and like rounded shapes and like inviting like art styles and shit. And World of Warcraft never really had that for me. It seemed very like, oh, you know, that's an adult game. Like I don't want to play that. I want to hang out with other kids. And I'm very much aware that like World of Warcraft has a very big player base still, and has always had one. And a lot of those people that play the game now were playing when they were children. Different strokes for different folks, bro. I'm sorry. I played this in college, and I was just like, bro, what the fuck is this? I think I was just overwhelmed. And because there's a ton of stuff to do. You got classic WoW, you got new WoW, you got, I think there's a third version too. There's a lot, bro. It is not a very beginner friendly game, and I was just confused. I was frustrated, and so yeah, I played it for like maybe 2 hours, and I just cut that shit off, bro. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. Yeah, I know we're ending off on a bit of a sour note, but this is my MMO tier list. I know I'm about to make a lot of people mad. I feel like I say this on every tier list that I make, and I do, because I got some hot takes, bro. I got some real hot takes. I'm aware. You know, I'm just staying true to me, bro, and I'm gonna keep it real transparent with y'all. Like, at least I play most of them. I know a lot of these ones up here, like y'all like, okay, all right. Yeah, y'all vibing with me a little bit, but then you get down here, you just like, oh, this nigga is trash. Let me know what you thought of my tier list. Oh, I'm about to get flamed, nigga, fuck. But yeah, this is my tier list. It's very true to like my childhood and my experiences with MMOs. Literally defined a lot of kids' childhoods, and they definitely defined mine. It goes without saying that we had some of the best gaming experiences growing up. I love video games, and I love this industry. I really do. It cannot be argued that gaming in general is not the same as it used to be, bro. It's not. You know, half the games that come out are not even full games. Like they need patches and shit to be met to their full potential. They always gotta have a battle pass. Like there's always frame rate issues and graphical issues, and just companies are just so greedy now. Whereas back in the day, you had all these MMOs that in nature were greedy, because again, you needed like pro memberships to really get that full experiences, but they also just allowed you to exist for free for the most part, and just be with other kids your age and just communicate. And there's not a lot of that going around right now. A lot of communication that kids have today is through like TikTok and social media, and they just don't have these experiences anymore. And it's really sad to think about, because I just feel like, you know, growing up, we had this, and we had just really great experiences being on the computer, and it just wasn't as much shit to worry about as there is now, bro. And I'll never forget these, bro. I'll never forget them. And again, a lot of these you can still play today. Wizard 101, Pirate 101, I think you can still play. Movie Star Planet, you can play. Movie Star Planet actually has a sequel now, which came out a couple years ago. You can still play Animal Jam, from what I think. Warcraft, you can still play that, obviously. Pop Tropica, I think you can still play. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to make this nostalgic ass video to just sort of like relive the glory days, and sort of just remind y'all that times was better, bro. Like, shit was easier, shit was cooler, man. Cause now niggas paying bills and shit, and politics and bills. So it's really fun to sort of like be brought back to childhood and just relive these memories with y'all, man. So, but this video is getting really long and I'm starting to ramble. Yeah, with all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more tier lists on the channel, which you will regardless, make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button with the meanest, cleanest back shots you can conjure up. I want to see that motherfucker go. Remember to reach for the motherfucking stars. And with that, I'm out.